Hello, everybody. This is Listening with Eli, and I am Elijah Pestana. Thanks for listening. One thing we want to talk about now is the elections. For those of you who do not live in the United States, we are having our election season going on, which it started voting was right now November 3rd, and I honestly don't know what to say. I just want to talk about how I feel regarding this election because I feel it's very polarized within these past couple of years of American politics. For those who don't know, we have two parties. We have the Republican and Democratic Party, each representing a part of the political spectrum. While I add on to that later, I just want to talk about what's going on and why it's becoming such a controversial election. Well, regarding our two candidates, we have current President Donald Trump of the Republican ticket and Vice President Joe Biden from the Democratic ticket. And within that, they represent different sides of a coin of how America could improve and get better. With Donald Trump, you see that he wants within his slogan, make America great again, right? Within that, he wants us to become independent, strong in a nation, being not prideful as in an arrogant way, but being proud of one's country and try to boost the economy with as little restrictions as possible, right? Within that, you have Joe Biden, who says, with the rhetoric that he proposes, is trying to not go with against Donald Trump saying making America great again, is like America needs to work into being better within that, not representing what Biden says is a group of people, not representing only Democrats or Republicans. He wants to represent all Americans, and we have to work together as a group to promote unity in that. And within those things of tickets, you have a bunch of people following each person. So, for example, with the Republican ticket of Donald Trump, you see a lot of evangelical Christians going for him because he represents the conservative values of the country, while you have many people approving healthcare going for Joe Biden because they think that his healthcare plan is going great, and especially in response with this pandemic going on. And what I want to talk about is not about the election itself, but how it's affected people around us, because the more every election that goes on, it looks like the parties are not trying to compromise, and they're more trying to be separate. It's what's called polarization. When two magnets go together, right? So depending on the magnitude, it either clicks together and it clicks right, or it separates gradually. And when you try to put them together, they'll even go farther apart. And that's what I'm seeing right now from social media, from even the news gatherings that we see today. You're seeing news channels that you would consider respectable within their time now becoming very biased with what they do. Some of them deliberately edit news and transcribe it to one way to promote a candidate, while the other just doesn't promote the news that's actually going on and trying to let people look at another conversation. I'm not only saying this for, liberal media, but this is in conservative media as well, especially those who are within social media have been active on that. And while you're seeing the polarization in media, you see this within the people consuming this media, right? These would be the influencers and people that look up to these individuals and saying, hey, you guys got to be active on this. If this person is doing such and such thing, you have to go against that. And it really creates what's called this tribal mentality, where you're in one group and it's us against them, And I really saw it within this election. I haven't saw in the 2016 one. Before, in the 2016 election, we had Hillary Clinton, who was Secretary of State with the President Obama, and basically who wasn't with Trump, they would call him a bigot, an idiot, and things like that, And then within that concept, you had people within the right who were for Donald Trump. They wanted to make America great again. That's it. There were no attacking other sides at the moment, and if nobody liked what you were saying, you just get blocked and all that. But now in the 2016 election, if you even say who you vote for, I had friends who were blocked, shunned, and verbally attacked by people just because of that, And this is on both sides. And I see that, I'm like, wow, what a democracy we're living in. We can't even express who we want to vote for, or else we're scrutinizing ourselves of what we're trying to do, Like, for example, for me, I'm very advocate of expressing who you're voting for, because in a democracy you have to be expressive of what you're doing. Like, if you really want to see change in your community, actually do it. If you're seeing that not many people are getting food in their community, go and try to help them. Make food, give them out to what they need. If you're seeing that there's a light post that has a horrible stop sign that keeps on making traffic, write to your local public official to fix that. That's what I'm saying with your vote. I'm very proud of who I voted for. For me, I voted for Joseph Biden. And the thing is, it's not because I'm fully Democrat or what he says, because there's some things that I don't approve of with Joseph Biden, but the concept of America being centrist, in the middle, that's what I want to go for. I want to have compromises with the two parties to make decisions that could help the country. And with Donald Trump, I wasn't seeing that in these elections. And that's what's good about this country, is that if you don't like how a president's doing things or an elected official, you could say, hey, I'm not voting for you this period. And I don't know who's going to win. When you're seeing now within the polls, you see different websites saying different things. Right now, everything's trending as of 11:54 on November 5th, 2020. Everything is going on Biden, but things could turn, right? It just depends on what you're doing. So within the election process that you're seeing now, it's just hand in a basket, because you're trying to find out, A, who are your friends really are, B, who is really going to help the country, and see how you're going to survive this political landscape, especially with social media. I'm telling you, social media is not good for politics. Why? Because you have campaigners creating 5-second ads to exemplify either A, an entire platform of a candidate, or B, discrediting another candidate's platform in 5 seconds. So within that, you're going to get biased and confrontational information, which is either not true, and it's not good. One thing I would tell you, if you're a person that likes a candidate, look at what they've done since day one, right? Look at everything, what they stand for, what they're currently standing with now. If they've made mistakes and apologize and get better in them, that's a good thing too, because they're willing to compromise and grow from there. Experience is a big thing. And other than that, it's just trying to see what would be your representative that you could think would be held accountable for their actions. And within this election, I didn't think, for me, Donald Trump wasn't accountable for his actions, Although he made some improvements within the country, as in the economy and things like that, I think that he was only representing a certain group of people, not everybody. Now, as a person of faith and me being a Christian, it affects me a lot about what Joe Biden is entering in now, because there's a lot of things that within my faith it doesn't tolerate with what most of Joe Biden stands for. And one thing that I realized as I'm reading the Bible, there's a changing of the times. Everything is changing with now within the election. We have people that are openly transgendered people being elected into office, people that are non-binary enter into office. And that's perfectly fine within our state and country and affairs. But it really shows as a Christian that things are changing very drastically. And that's why a lot of people voted for President Trump in 2016. I know that all of my family members who were predominantly in their faith of Christianity, they went for that, because they say, hey, the morals of the values are changing, not only in the concept of the sexual spectrum, but things on an abortion, and which I have nothing against. I feel that if you vote for a candidate and you say who you are, you should freely express who you vote for without any circumstance or change. Of course, I could disagree with you, but I'm not going to demonize you. I'm not going to make you feel the other half, Like, one of my friends that I considered a brother to me, he literally demonized a bunch of other friends because they voted for Trump, and they said, oh no, because you're presenting somebody who doesn't want my family to come to this country, or he's representing the racist part of America, and within that, there are some truths and there are some half-truths in those statements. We have to see what is he talking about, and it's an interpersonal conversation. But like I said, with social media, I feel that it's cutting out the entire relationship aspect of what you have with the person, and it weaponizes people to be against everything that's against the candidate that you're going for. So when I saw my person being like that, I'm saying, listen, the way that you're speaking to me and to other people, I don't want that a part of my life, because I'm a person that shows respect and honesty in what I do, and I don't care who you vote for. I care about you as an individual, and if you feel that person wants to help to benefit the country, you do that. We live in a democracy. And within other people that disagree, that you see a bunch of people blocking people and not talking to them, and I'm like, okay, man, grow, do what you want to do. And I honestly don't know what will happen within this election. I don't know whether if we're going to go, if Trump is going to take over the White House and create a military coup d'etat, as some people on the left would say, or some people on the right saying if Joe Biden wins, we're going to turn into a communist Cuba or Venezuela. I don't know. I am afraid. I am hopeful. And I wish that people would just stop looking at their phones and work together and do something in their community. Because people all the time think that it's only the president of the United States that makes the decisions around here. No, it's not only the president. It is the mayor, the county mayor that you live with, the local officials that help stop climate change. They're the ones that see it happening. It's the tax collector that sees how much your property taxes will be raised or lowered and what needs to be assessed and valued. You need to go vote for those people. That's the important stuff, the local things. The federal stuff will just make restrictions and national laws. So I just want people is to consider that your vote is your voice. No one can take that away from you, right? You could be influenced and persuaded, but in the end, your voice is genuine. Let it be a genuine vote. Let it be a genuine thing. Don't just follow a wave of people, right? 2, be media literate. What I mean by media literate is that you're able to understand what is going on in the political spectrum. Who are you voting for? What is their platform? And why are they doing this? Because there could be some things that you don't even know about. And just because the person has some good, nice looking hair or is trendy on social media, they could be going for something that could be against you and what you stand for. And 3, most importantly, be as nonpartisan as possible and be respectful to another person's beliefs. Why? Because we live in a democracy. We don't live in a tyrannical government where it's like an us and them mentality. Because if you fight fire with fire, the house will burn. The forest will be burned down. There is no way to create a peace, just constant arguments. But within that will be for any election that you go for. For those of you listening, thank you for the time to listen to my little ramble. And there'll be other things we'll be discussing. One thing I wanted to really release was one of this big interviews that I had with the Arango brothers, Miguel and Federico Arango, famous creators who I admire a lot, who created the Space Force anthem, which has 28,000 views on YouTube. And they're trying to actually get this to the United States military to become the official anthem for the United States Space Force. So be on the lookout for that. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. And remember, you're wonderfully made. And this is Listening with Eli. I'm Elijah Pistana. Have a great day, guys.